Episode 56 WN August 5, 2024 UK begins fines on a home feature tied to a public health risk. In episode 56 WN 1 California 2 Idaho 3 UK Wakefield begins fines on a home feature tied to a public health risk. For Nepal 5 p.m. 2.5 and Public Health. 6 White House Council on Environmental Justice email edited. Main content. 1A California beach fire started August 3. Modesto B beach fire has been burning on private land. Currently the cause of Silver Spur Road wood fire started August 3, 2024. 1B California lemon fire started August 3, 2024. San Luis Obispo Tribune lemon fire has been burning on federal land managed by the United States Forest Service. Silver Spur Road wood fire started August 3, 2024. 1C California lunch fire started August 3, 2024. San Luis Obispo Tribune lunch fire has been burning on federal land managed by the United States Forest Service. Silver Spur Road wood fire started August 3, 2024. 1D California shelter fire started August 3, 2024. San Luis Obispo Tribune shelter fire has been burning on private land. At this time details Silver Spur Road wood fire started August 3, 2024. 1E, California Silver Spur Road wood fire wildfire in Los Angeles County started August 3, 2024. Modesto B. The wildfire has been burning on private land. Sacramento B. A new wildfire reported today at 8:23 p.m. in Riverside County, California. Silver Spur Road wood fire has been burning on private land. California Silver Spur Road wood fire update S1 fire August 3, 2024 status San Luis Obispo Tribune. It has been burning on federal land managed by the Bureau of Land Management. 2 Idaho Blaine County Recreation Department BCRD installs air quality sensors just in time for Pacabo fire eye on Sun Valley smoke for the smoke, she said. After a string of clear days, a little haze from the Humongous Park fire burning in California moved over the Wood 3 United Kingdom Wakefield. Officials begin imposing fines after finding popular home feature tied to severe public health risk. Yahoo Wakefield Council in West Yorkshire has issued its first fine for the illegal use of wood-burning fires in homes, according to the BBC excerpts edited by Rozep for brevity and clarity in relationship to residents against wood smoke emission particulates, a 501c3 non-profit organization. Wakefield Council in England made moves to limit the use of domestic log burners. Wakefield Council in West Yorkshire issued its first fine for the illegal use of wood-burning fires in homes, according to the BBC. Increasing complaints have been made regarding chimney smoke. 216 wood smoke complaints were made between 2019 and 2022. Fines with a fixed penalty were issued for properties responsible for excessive smoke emissions. Introduced in December 2024, the first fine of £175, $224, was handed out in July 2024. These fines can rise to £300, $384, while prosecution is possible for repeat offenders. A cabinet member for Environment and Climate Change said fines will only be administered after a verbal discussion and a written warning. The new notices will help to end this nuisance behavior which emits harmful particles and will improve air quality and public health in the district. The cabinet member for Environment and Climate Change told the BBC. Wakefield councillors are concerned that people do not fully understand the risks wood burning presents. Using a log burner can triple the level of harmful pollution inside the home, and an open fire can produce 10 times as much pollution. Awareness of the exposure that takes place in the home is currently low. A study of properties in London shows the burning of solid fuels for heating linked to 284 early deaths each year because of the outdoor air pollution these fires create. In the United States, another study found that indoor wood stoves or fireplaces increase women's chances of developing lung cancer by 43%. Avoiding the use of fireplaces or wood stoves is essential to reduce the risk of respiratory illnesses and lung cancer. Using an electric heater produces no harmful indoor pollution that could put your health at risk. Heat pumps that work down to 40 degrees below zero, which you may be able to access rebates for, are an energy-efficient and cost-effective way to heat and cool a property when temperatures outside plummet. An electric induction hob is a far safer alternative, and you might be able to access rebates for this technology. For Nepal. Continuous rain improves Kathmandu's air quality significantly. My Republican Agric Network. The AQI measures unseen pollutants and PM 2.5 levels, which include particles smaller than 2.5 microns, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, and nitrogen 5 APM 2.5, and disparities. A comprehensive study shows disparities in air pollution exposure. One Green Planet. The study set in the Bronx, New York found that exposure to particulate matter, PM 2.5 microns or larger, increases by about 2.4% when considering 5 BPM 2.5 and dry eye disease. Study looks at the correlation of humidity, temperature, and air pollutants on dry eye disease patients' ophthalmology times in terms of air pollutants. Participants who visited on days with the highest levels of PM 2.5 showed higher Sandy scores. 6 White House Council on Environmental Justice email edited. August 5, 2024. Excerpts edited by Rozep for brevity and clarity in relationship to residents against wood smoke emission particulates, a 501c3 non-profit organization. Last week, the White House Council on Environmental Quality hosted the first ever White House Summit on Environmental Justice in Action, showcasing the Biden-Harris administration's progress on advancing environmental justice. The Biden-Harris administration made key announcements to build on the most ambitious environmental justice agenda in history, including releasing 1. The second annual Environmental Justice Scorecard. 2. Environmental Justice. Gov. 3. The Environmental Justice Science, Data, and Research Plan. 4. A Memorandum of Understanding for the White House Environmental Justice Interagency Council ICYMI. Please see below for a White House fact sheet that provides greater details on the administration's announcements and actions. We encourage you to share broadly with family, friends, and colleagues. Fact sheet. Biden. Harris administration delivers environmental justice with cleaner air, clean water, and healthier communities. President Biden and Vice President Harris believe that every person has a right to breathe clean air now and into the future. The second annual Environmental Justice Scorecard describes the impacts and benefits of more than $600 billion in federal investments that President Biden has secured over fiscal years 2022 to 2027. The Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, announced over $4.3 billion in climate pollution reduction grants to implement community-driven solutions that tackle the climate crisis, reduce air pollution, advance environmental justice, and accelerate America's clean energy transition. The Department of Housing and Urban Development announced $19 million in new grant and loan awards under its Green and Resilient Retrofit program after announcing more than $142 million last month, bringing the total funding awarded under this program to more than $773 million. This funding supports significant energy efficiency and climate resilience renovations in more than 4,200 homes at properties housing low-income individuals, families, and seniors, bringing the total number of homes supported under this program to over 20,000. The Department of the Interior, DOI, awarded $20 million in funding to Alabama to address dangerous and polluting abandoned mine lands, create good-paying, family-sustaining jobs, and catalyze economic opportunity across the state. With this announcement, DOI has now awarded over $1.4 billion from the bipartisan infrastructure law to states to remediate abandoned mine lands. Tomorrow, EPA will announce the first round of Environmental and Climate Justice Community Change Grants Program selections, the single largest investment in environmental justice ever, to go directly to communities. These selections will advance collaborative efforts to achieve a healthier, safer, and more prosperous future for all. EPA has made $2 billion available, and organizations are encouraged to apply for awards by November 21, 2024. EPA will make selections on a rolling basis. The Office of Management and Budget, in coordination with the Council on Environmental Quality, published the second annual Environmental Justice Scorecard, a government-wide assessment of what 24 federal agencies did to advance environmental justice in fiscal year 2023. The White House Office of Environmental Justice, within the Council on Environmental Quality, launched EnvironmentalJustice.gov, a new website that highlights the administration's actions on environmental justice, features stories of progress across America, and shares tools, resources, and funding opportunities to empower communities to navigate federal programs and advance environmental justice in their neighborhoods. The Office of Science and Technology Policy, in coordination with the Council on Environmental Quality, announced the release of the inaugural Environmental Justice Science, Data, and Research Plan. The plan was developed by 11 agencies and 3 components of the Executive Office of the President that participate in the National Science and Technology Council's Environmental Justice Subcommittee. The White House Environmental Justice Interagency Council, IAC, adopted a Memorandum of Understanding across 24 principles of 16 federal agencies and 8 components of the Executive Office of the President to support and advance the IAC's mission to facilitate robust and effective interagency coordination on environmental justice. These announcements build on 3.5 years of progress to advance environmental justice under President Biden's leadership, making historic investments in environmental justice. The President's Investing in America agenda makes historic investments to advance environmental justice. This includes $7 billion in solar for all grants to deliver residential solar, which is saving money for households in low-income and disadvantaged communities, as part of the $27 billion Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund, the over $3 billion Environmental and Climate Justice Block Grant Program, and $4 billion to revitalize and reconnect communities that have been left behind and divided by transportation infrastructure. Through the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law and the Inflation Reduction Act, agencies are also investing billions to plug orphan oil and gas wells, remediate abandoned mine lands, replace lead service lines, increase equitable access to trees and green spaces, install air monitors to screen for pollution, purchase clean school buses, improve public transportation with low and no-emission buses, and more. Finalizing ambitious regulatory protections for clean air, clean water, and fence-aligned communities. The Biden-Harris administration has taken broad regulatory action to protect public health and secure environmental justice. The EPA established the first-ever national drinking water standard for PFAS, banned ongoing uses of asbestos, and strengthened lead protections and mercury and air toxic standards. To address elevated cancer risk and other harms to fence-aligned communities, the EPA finalized new health protections to reduce exposure to ethylene oxide, issued strong standards to reduce pollution from fossil fuel-fired power plants, finalized stronger clean air standards for chemical plants, and improved safety standards to protect at-risk communities from chemical accidents. The EPA also took action to adopt stronger standards for harmful soot pollution, which will prevent up to 4,500 premature deaths and yield up to $46 billion in net health benefits, and finalized national pollution standards for passenger cars, light-duty trucks, and medium-duty vehicles, as well as heavy-duty vehicles that will deliver $13 billion of annual public health benefits due to improved air quality. The President launched the American Climate Corps, a workforce training and service initiative that will ensure more young people have access to the skills-based training they need for good-paying careers in the clean energy and climate resilience economy. The Climate Corps focuses on creating good-paying jobs and advancing environmental justice, prioritizing communities traditionally left behind. The President's fiscal year 2025 budget invests $23 billion in climate adaptation and resilience across the federal government to help protect the most vulnerable Americans from the economic and physical impacts of climate change. Further, the Department of Labor's Occupational Safety and Health Administration proposed a new rule that, if finalized, would establish the nation's first-ever federal safety standard to protect workers from extreme heat in the workplace. Expanding the White House Environmental Justice Advisory Council. President Biden appointed 12 additional members to the White House Environmental Justice Advisory Council, WEJAC, a federal advisory committee that President Biden established under Executive Order 14008 on tackling the climate crisis at home and abroad. The WEJAC held its first joint public meeting with the White House Environmental Justice Interagency Council in June 2024, strengthening enforcement of environmental and civil rights laws. The Justice Department's DOJ, Office of Environmental Justice, OEJ, is engaging DOJ bureaus, components, and offices to ensure that DOJ utilizes the full set of legal tools at its disposal to secure environmental justice. OEJ is the central hub as DOJ implements a comprehensive environmental justice enforcement strategy to enhance civil and criminal enforcement of environmental violations in communities overburdened by pollution. For example, following an interim resolution agreement, DOJ and the Department of Health and Human Services announced that the Alabama Department of Public Health has made progress in providing access to basic sanitation services, abating exposure to raw sewage from inadequate on-site wastewater systems, and improving health outcomes for the predominantly black communities of Lowndes County, Alabama. In addition, the Environmental Protection Agency has strengthened